Alliance-14 for Object 279. This is an easy one. In fact, it was probably my first or second mission in Object 279 I completed, and I've just been putting off doing the video for it. We need to damage 30 different tanks within 7 battles, and if we want to get the secondary done, which I did complete, we need to damage 40 different tanks within those 7 battles. So this is really about damaging, not doing a lot of damage, just damaging a lot of different enemy tanks. The tank that I chose to do this in is the Tier 9 American artillery, the 5355. With the 155 millimeter gun, not the top gun. This is the stock gun in this tank, and the reason that I did that is it has a better rate of fire than the upgraded gun. You're just going to be able to hit more targets more easily with this, and so definitely downgrade that gun. The reason in general that I chose artillery is quite simple. You just have range over the entire map. You can hit whoever you want, so it's easy without moving to just sit in the back and fire across the entire map. The only downside to using artillery for this is there's a chance that you can get a city map, and if you only have 7 battles to do this in, if you get a couple of city maps in a row, it can screw this mission up for you. If you're going to do this in artillery, make sure that you load the gun rammer and a gun laying drive, because when you do fire, you want to make sure that you hit, and vents are certainly going to be useful as well. Now, if you don't have the American arty, you can use the British arty. In fact, they have a faster rate of fire with their stock guns, so it might even be better for you, but this is the only artillery that I have. Now, there are alternatives for this if you don't either want to use arty or you don't have artillery for this. I would say that one of the best alternatives is the Tier 8 British TD, the Charioteer, just because it's so mobile. The gun is great. If you're having trouble penning, which you shouldn't with that tank, you can just load Hesh. It's fantastic for this. The other tank is, or tanks I should say, is really anything from the American light line. The Sheraton on down is good, particularly the T-49 and the Sheraton, because they do fire HE. You can just run by people and damage them. So let's take a look at some battles here. The very first battle, you can see a quick blind shot there. I actually, when I was in the battle, it didn't look like that I was doing very well. I actually only damaged 4 tanks according to the tracker here. And by the way, I did hit both of those tanks with that blind shot. And so at this point in the battle, I now have 1 shot according to the tracker, but I actually have 4 because the 2 first shots that I took were blind shots. One hit the 260 and the other one hit the 2 TDs there. And because they were lightly armored TDs, even though it was a shot that was probably glancing, the burst was close enough for them to do damage. So really, I'm just moving around the map, trying to hit targets that I haven't hit before. This shot actually doesn't really count because I already hit that tank, I think, with the blind shot in the beginning. And at this point, it's really just a question of making sure that I'm getting as many targets in as possible. Now, something interesting happens here. This 260 pushes me. I've already hit him in the beginning, and he's going to kill me no matter what. So I'm just going to ignore him, and I'm going to put one last shot into this prototype. And you can see I got 7 shots out of that battle, even though it said I only got 4. Now, the next couple of battles went on, and I got, I think, 5 each of the next battles. We need to average about 6 shots per battle to complete the secondary, so I'm not too concerned at this point. And I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing because I'm really not far off the pace to get this done. In fact, I think I'm right on pace, essentially, to get this done. So, you essentially just keep rotating around the map. If a target is lit, if it's slow, if it's not moving, fire at it. Even if it's behind cover, I mean, you have enough burst damage here that it's not even going to matter if you directly hit them. You need to do 1 HP of damage to somebody for them to qualify for this mission. So. It's not super important in how much damage you do. It's just getting shells out of the gun, which is why 1, artillery is great for this, and 2, The American light tanks with their derp gun are great for this as well. So I get a couple of more hits in here, and I think I ended up with 22 or 23 after the fourth battle. And so this turned out to be pretty good, and I completed the mission on the fifth battle, but the sixth battle didn't go very well for me. So I only, because I got, I think, Himmelsdorf, which isn't a terribly good arty map. So I only got 3 hits in on the sixth battle, so it left me on the seventh battle having to do 7 hits, which is probably right at the high end of what you're likely going to do. I've done 8 and 9, but it's hard to do consistently depending on the map. And so it just left me with a lot of ground to make up if I wanted to complete the secondary. And it came down to one last shot on the very last tank in this match that I could hit. So this is another example here. You can see me aiming at that T69. I had already hit him. I shouldn't even be pointing at him at this point of the match. I should be looking elsewhere on the map. And that's one of the key things here is you have to remember which tanks you've already hit, and just completely ignore them once you've hit them. Because there's no value to you in hitting them again. In fact, it's probably detrimental to you to hit them again. Because if you help kill them, it just helps your team move forward faster, which means they're going to kill the tanks in front of them faster. You have a long reload. You want the match to go really as slow as possible, so that you can hit as many tanks as possible. So at this point, there's a lot of tanks alive, but they die extremely quickly. And I don't know if I've hit any blind shots here, but you can see tanks are starting to die. And I've already hit 2 of the 4 tanks that are left in this match. And I'm starting to get concerned. And I miss a couple of shots on this tank right here, the E3, which is the only tank left that I can actually hit to get this done. And since this is the last mission, I just have to get it done. So I'm trying to save this last shot here, and he pulls in front of that building. I get it in, and mission is complete, and that is Alliance-14 with honors for the Object 279. So, in summary, what do we need to do? Fire and focus on the next target. In fact, you want to have a good sense of where that next target's going to be the moment you pull the trigger. Don't even wait to see if you hit, because your damage meter is going to tell you if you hit, unless that tank goes dark after you've fired the shot, and you're probably going to know that. It's easier to work one side of the map and hit all of the targets on that side and then shift to another side. And the reason is because there's going to be groups of targets that are together, particularly in the early part of the game. And if you could hit multiple targets at the same time, that's fantastic. But really what you want to do is not shift around the map a lot. And so if you can hit the 3 or 4 targets that are on a given lane and then shift to another lane, it's going to help you keep that aim time down on your targets. And I think the last thing is if you're going to run this in arty, you need to know your splash radius. Because there are times where you're going to be able to splash a tank that you really don't have a shot on, and do that 1 damage. And that's all we care about, is the 1 HP of damage. If you get that in, that tank counts, you move on. And so if there's a shot that you can take where you can have just a little bit of splash damage, even if it's a terrible shot, take it. Because this isn't terribly hard. And if you're struggling with getting this done, load some premium ammo in your artillery and increase that blast radius, which is what it does for artillery. So you'll get this done. Like I said, it took 1 attempt. The primary was never in question. It took me 5 battles to do it, and just 2 more to do the secondary. So you will get this done pretty easily, even if you decide not to use artillery for this. So good luck with this one, guys, and I will see you on the next one.